Hey guys, thank you for stopping by. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. And I hope you enjoyed this interview. All right, welcome back to the program. We'll be discussing productivity issues in Nigeria's workforce. Thelma Ibeh, Chief HR FMR Agency and founder Faslearn Africa, as well as Funmi Bucknor, founder and lead consultant at HRmadam Consulting. Both ladies are joining me now. Welcome to you guys. Welcome to you, ladies.
Thank you very much, Nancy.
Hi, I'm always used to speaking to men. You know, I do a lot more male interviews than female, so I'm excited to have you both today on the program. I think I'll start with Thelma. Thelma, speak to me about the state of work in Nigeria. What is the state of Nigeria's workforce? Because of course you have a recruitment agency. What's the state of work?
Okay, so of course, thank you very much for having me, and I hope I'm audible enough.
Yes, you are.
So you know that in every country there are situations that are peculiar to their workforce. But in the last 2 to 3 years, there's been, or rather in the last 5 years, there's been specific issues in Nigeria that is tied to the economy. So we cannot speak about any challenges in the workplace that is not tied to the economy. And
Oh, okay. It seems the network has frozen on Thelma. Funmi,
can you still hear me clearly?
Okay, yes, I can hear you now. Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so just to be very sure that I can be heard.
Yes, go ahead.
There's been changes across the workforce in Nigeria, and you cannot bring that out without mentioning the economic situation. So in the workforce today, I'll tell you for sure that the issue of finding the right talent is still a problem, even though Nigeria has moved from having people who are highly unemployable, but you still have those challenges because of the pace at which the world or the global space has changed. You know, different skills are being required at every point in time. Now we're talking about AI experts, and if you look at the Nigerian workforce, we're still trying to get at par with that. So I would say that there's been challenges from, you know, finding the right talent to opportunities, which means that businesses are struggling. So you could say that right now there's been a decline in hiring because of the economic challenges. So you put the two together and you realize that the economic situation has a toll on the workforce today. And then you also have people who are somewhat unemployable, not because, you know, there are several factors, okay? Access to education, you know, quality education, job opportunities that are available. I mean, you're aware that we advertise the role, you have thousands of applications, and that's because of the shortage of labor. And then you also have the Gen Z, of course, who have a different mindset and concept to work. So if you put that together, it's been a bit of a struggle trying to find people. One is being able to pay them. The second is also having people who are willing to work. And then on the other side, having people who have the right skills and experiences to work. So I'd say it's been a hustle of economic situation, finding the right talents, and also even the right attitude to work.
Okay, Thelma, I'll come to you later, but let me speak with Funmi. How is the current work culture in the country right now, and employees' performance? I hope my team is listening. Can we put a card? In fact, I was on X this morning. A notification just came to me. That's Dr. Joe Abba, who was the former DG of BPSR. He talks about the work culture in Nigeria, and he said mental health. Okay, that's it. I don't know if you guys can quickly say it. And I said, oh, perhaps Dr. Joe Abba knows what I want to discuss this morning. And that's the tweet there. He said, any small demand for performance these days, you will hear my mental health too. Your orgasm mental health when you don't deliver or meet deadlines in court. Now, for me, that brings me to the question of the current work culture in the country. Because what he has said now, I have even experienced as an employer some years ago. I was like, mental health, I was like, why are people pulling the mental health card? Mental health is such a serious issue. So you're beginning to see an increased number of mental health card being pulled in workplaces. So I'm asking the question around current work culture.
Okay, I think, and I'm not sure, you might be able to clarify that for me. Do you want me to focus on the mental health card
I'm asking you like two questions in one. That's the current work, yes, current work culture. Then this mental health card, which a lot of employers are speaking about now, not even Dr. Joe Abba alone.
Yeah. Okay, gotcha. Okay, so I would say that, there has been a lot of efforts for, especially in the HR world where we do have conversations. So there has been a lot of effort being put into being intentional about, creating the right work culture. And culture is basic. What is culture? It's the way we eat, the way we speak, the way we dress, the way we interact with one another. So if you bring that to a work setting, so it's the way that we address one another, the way that we respect.
Okay.
Can you still hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. You were frozen at a point, but you're back.
Okay, so the way that we interact with one another, okay? So, and I think that, well, because I'm a consultant now as well, I consult for small businesses. From what I've seen, I know that a lot of, employers are trying to create the right work culture and promote the right work culture behaviors in the workplace, rewarding the right behaviors, and things like that. So I would say that a lot of effort is being put into that. Now, on the mental health card that a lot of people are quick to pull. I think that we're beginning to see more conversations. We're beginning to see more of that because there have been conversations around mental health, which are, legitimate and right, because people do struggle with things. And as your employer, I need to, especially as an HR person, I need to be able to advocate for you in the place of work. Perhaps somebody's performance has dropped because they're now a new mom and they're struggling with marrying that life with work life. So, people do have struggles, and these struggles affect their mental health, right? And so, this is the reason why, as employers, as HR professionals, we need to pay attention to it. We need to have conversations about it in the workplace. And most importantly, we need to put interventions in place for people. Sometimes the sort of intervention that we even need to put in place are not so, they don't really attract huge costs. Sometimes it's a concierge service that you want to render. So have a list of providers that your people can talk to. Of course, if you
Fumi's network is actually also frozen now. Fumi, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, yeah. But that said, there will always be people who would, abuse any initiative that you put in place. So there will be people who would pull that card, not so much as, that is what they're experiencing, but maybe because they're falling short of, they're not performing at their best, or they're not meeting deadlines, so they pull that card. Now the problem now becomes, how do we know when people are using it as an excuse and when people do actually have mental health issues, and how can we, support them? So that is the way that I would look at it. Yes, there are people that are using it as excuses, but there are people who actually have legitimate needs and requirements to be supported at work as it relates to mental health.
Okay, for Thelma, how can organizations prioritize perhaps employee well-being while also promoting productivity and great performance from their employees?
All right. So, Nancy, if I'll be honest with you, the issue of mental health in Nigeria is not the global mental health issue. The issue of mental health in Nigeria are economic, issues, right? People are not earning a lot of money, as they ought to earn. I mean, someone just leaves work trying to get to work, and then they get into an accident, and then they get to a hospital. They don't have the facility. They don't have doctor on ground. So many things. So I would say that it is beyond the control of the employers, because even the employers, too, at this point, are also going through their own phase of mental health, where you have to deal with. I mean, you were just talking about, the whole levy and the policies of, trying to access dollar. This minute is this amount, the next minute is this amount. You're dealing with losses. So everyone is going through a mental health that I would say that are mostly channeled towards the economic situation of the country. How come Nigerians who are outside Nigeria, the only mental health issue that they probably will complain to you about is the amount of hours they need to work, which is optional because you earn hourly, right? So it's their option to work for 12 hours or for 15 hours, and then they come out and say, oh, they're tired. So it's not really that way. So it's about the environment. It's about what's available. So I think when you're asking this question, you should say what is available for both employers and employees, because it's on everybody. It's not one-sided. And I think that for the employers, they can be as transparent as possible about the challenges or the issues the company is facing. Of course, try as much as possible to know the problems the employees are facing. Like I said, many of these issues around are personal challenges that the employer does not have control over. However, they may be able to support. So it could be just like Funmi said, it could be they have a toddler at home, they don't have anybody to take care of them, so they are always worried about how far can I get home. And we also need to understand that some of the issues, for example, logistics in Lagos, people who take 2 hours, 3 hours to get to work. Of course, by the time you get to work, you're tired. By the time you start the work and then getting exhausted into the day, I think people who get home.
Yes, Thelma, so what you're saying right now, to be able to even fill in that gap, government has to put a lot of things in place in terms of infrastructure and all of that. Yes.
Yes, it is. I mean, the company can only offer you a space where you can go and cry, offer you lunch, give you certain things, but they are not sustainable. I mean, if you get what I mean, they're not sustainable. They can't change certain things that are other external factors that affect us in the workplace.
Okay. So okay, Thelma, let me stick with you again, because earlier on you mentioned Gen Z. And the question is around what productivity issues have you noticed around the youthful population in the country? Of course, our country is young in nature in terms of the demography. People less than around 35 less is actually more than close to 70%. You hire for companies every day. So what peculiarities are you seeing with that demography before I quickly come over to Funmi?
Social media, we all know that. Social media is the biggest distraction, right, of the Gen Z. And I'll give you a typical example. So I have this client who are in the manufacturing space, and they currently put internet across the factory. And then you realize that employees who are supposed to be on the machine, right, when they're trying to do something, they're trying to watch TikTok on their phone, they're trying to watch social media, Instagram and the rest, and then they are prone to accidents. So the entanglement with social media is so much so that people can't sleep or stay without their phone for 1 second, right? So you have employees who are supposed to be working, and then when you go on social media, you've seen that they've been commenting on every single post, following everything that is happening from 8 to 5, and then you ask yourself, what time do you have to do the work? Even you as a person, right? When you work and you want to take a break, you go on social media. But this generation are on social media 24/7. So you can't expect that level of productivity with all of these distractions that they have around them. So I would say social media is the biggest one, where they don't have, they don't prioritize their time, or I'll dedicate these hours to certain things. There's no priority in terms of what I do. My life is around social media, and whatever. You can know what's happening in their life because of, how active they are on social media. So I think that's the biggest distraction.
Okay.
I would say.
Okay, for Funmi, how can organizations foster a culture of continuous learning and professional development, to drive productivity and innovation while also promoting the well-being of the employees?
Attention to that. Personal development is one of the big things that people look out for in terms of in organizations to work in. Like, do you make provision for that? Do you encourage that? So training and development very people skill-wise, skill up and things like that. Even refresher courses are needed for people who have taken certain courses in the past, because you need to refresh their memory. So it is very important to promote that culture. And research has shown that organizations that that prioritize learning and development are actually very innovative organizations. And when you have an innovative organization, of course, it will affect productivity. People are more skilled in what they are doing. People are dedicated. They are motivated. I will not mention brands, but I actually worked in a company who used training and development, learning and development. We don't want to be the best paying organization. We don't want to be the best paying organization, but we will train you such that if you're not, in fact, you cannot even be at par with your peers in the industry. You are going to be above your peers in the industry by the time we're done with you.
Okay.
So,
sorry for me, because I'm looking at, yes, I'm looking at our time. We have less than a minute to go. I also wanted to ask you a question around what is the role of education? Our curriculum right now in the country, the kind of graduates we're churning out. The NYSC just, I think corpus just passed out, core members just passed out,
yeah.
whether 2 days ago or yesterday. What is the role of education, you know, in fostering productivity in the country? Funmi, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, so go ahead. Go ahead and answer. Just 30 seconds, yes.
Education is very important. A well-educated workforce should be a priority in any economy. And so attention should be given to that. But we do have some challenges in Nigeria. So sometimes we have outdated curricula. What government should do. We also have the issue of funding. We also have the issue of, access to education. What government should do is, do a reform in that regard. Give funding for education. There needs to be a revision of the curricula that higher institutions use in Nigeria. And I don't think that is only the work of government. Even employers can partner with institutions to help them revise their curricula so that it aligns with, the realities in the workplace, right? Also, we should bridge the gap as it relates to access to education, where there has been difficulties for certain category of people, whether it's social-cultural challenges or social-cultural factors or financial situations that are preventing people from accessing education.
Okay, I want to say thank you, ladies, for joining me. This is still an ongoing concern. I sympathize with both employers and employees at this time. It's a difficult one for everyone, no matter the side that you are on. But the basic thing there is that we should actually also look at the promotion of productivity in the country, because it's all, it all goes, what goes around comes around. I think that's it, isn't it? It's all about the economy. If you put in junk, you get junk out. So thank you very much, ladies, for joining me on the show. All right, that's the much we can take on today's edition of the program. Please join us again tomorrow, same time on this channel. I am Nancy Naji. Be the best you can be and be the change that you want to see. Bye now. Thank you for watching. In case this is your first time watching us, thank you. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, drop your comments as well as like, and most of all, share our content. Bye.